66th pick in the 2025
Brock Purdy territory.
Draft, we've got Pope from the Roman Catholic Church. Oh, we got JB. We got Jim Barnett. Yeah, with thumbs up. All right, well, what a pivot we're about to do now from Pope to Jim Barnett, Warriors icon, joining us now on the River Islands guest line. As all guests on 95.7 The Game appear on the River Islands guest line, isn't it time for you to discover the islands, River Islands in Lathrop? Jim, good morning. It's Joe Spedoni alongside Joe Shasky here on the Morning Roast. And we've been talking all morning. Obviously, the big story, Warriors come out of game one, but it's the injury to Stephen Curry, that left hamstring strain that he has. It's a grade 1. He's going to be out at least a week. When you first heard that news and saw that news that Steph is going to be out at least the next 3 games, what was going through your mind, Jim?
Well, someone's got to step up, and as a team, they've got to do that. I think this is a gritty team led by Jimmy Butler, by the way. You know, obviously Stephen Curry is the heart and soul of this club, and it's hard to replace somebody who can give you 30 points a game like that. They're going to have to do it as a team. But I love Jimmy Butler because he plays with such confidence. He plays with such zest. He's willing to take chances. He can get inside, create things, and so he can get open shots for other people. He's made the game a lot easier for Stephen Curry this year. And the thing about that hamstring, though, with Curry, you can't push that. I don't know whether he's going to come back, down game 4, game 5, somewhere down the line there. He's going to mix the next 2 home games without question after this next road game. And a hamstring is very tricky. I've had them, okay? And you think you're well, but all of a sudden you go out and you do it, and you do it again, and it's a bigger tear than before. So they've got to be very careful with that. But they've got a lineup. They've got a lot of different people back there. Gary Payton II is going to come in and take some of those minutes. Buddy Hield, I have a lot of confidence in him. He can really light it up. So they've got to get a little more from him. He's very capable. Butler he's undaunted by anything. So he's going to go out there. He's going to be a great team leader. Podemski, he knows how to score. He knows how to handle the ball. He's always cool. I like him. So look for him, maybe to get some more points for you. So they just got to do it collectively.
What does the offense look like without Steph Curry, Jim?
Well, it's going to have to move a little bit more. They're going to pass a little bit more because, Stephen kind of waits around and lets Jimmy Butler create shots for people. And then he moves and catches, and then one little pump fake, and then his one defender goes by, and then he's looking for a three-pointer, and he's got it made because it's like a warm-up shot for him. So they've got to, first of all, they've got to play better defense. They've got to be better defensively as a team, which I think they're capable of doing. And so, I think that Anthony Edwards and Randall and McDaniels and Naz Reid and all those guys from Minnesota are going to play better coming up now. They were horrible in game 1, missing a lot of shots. They didn't shoot well at all. And so you got to be ready. They're going to be jumping at the chance here. They're thinking, hey, this is our break. And so they're going to be ready. And you got to get back on defense. You can't give them easy shots. You can't give them layups. The Warriors said so many more threes in game 1 than Minnesota did. But Minnesota is very capable as well. So they've got to worry about the defense. They've got to and not give them fast break points. If they can get back in time like that and not give them easy points, and at least keep it a close game.
Dr. Jim Barnett here on the Morning Roast, Warriors legend and former broadcaster here on 95.7 The Game, as well as NBC Sports Bay Area. And Jim, talking about that game 1, like, what was more surprising to you in that game? Or maybe surprising is not the right word, but do you think it was more that Minnesota offense and they just looked bad overall? Or was it something that the Warriors defense was doing to create a bad-looking Minnesota offense?
I think just Minnesota got out of sorts and got behind the 8 ball, and it got worse as it went on when you get down by 20 points and stuff. And so I think they were disillusioned. But I think they're going to be awakened now because they know they have a big chance here. When you lose Stephen Curry, it's like it's like losing your starting quarterback, and you're playing in the Super Bowl, and you accept all these games are Super Bowls, and so they're important for them, and so they're going to be confident. They're going to be ready to go. They're going to look at this as a great opportunity for them, and they're going to try to take advantage of it, as most people would.
What's the thing that really frightens you on Minnesota outside of Anthony Edwards?
Well, they've got big people. They can control the boards, okay, without question. With Gobert, Randall, they can control the boards, and usually the team that controls the boards wins the game. Not always. When you've got a team like the Warriors, if they're so great offensively, if everybody's healthy, that sometimes can overcome that. But I guarantee you, the confidence of Minnesota has just now risen, and so you've got to stop that. And a lot of this game is so much mental, and you're prepared and you're ready for it, and you believe in yourself. And so right now, Minnesota's believing in themselves and saying this is a great opportunity for us, and they don't want to squander that.
Jim, what do you make of Anthony Edwards, the player, from his rookie year till now? Obviously, the talent is undeniable. But when I hear the head coach after game one, and Chris Finch, and I think he's a pretty good head coach, after game one, calling him out and calling out the effort of his star player like that, him saying the effort level wasn't there. Like, I don't know. That's kind of damning. And it kind of just speaks to a young team, if you will. I know they were in the Western Conference Finals last year. But what do you make of Anthony Edwards, the player in this series?
Well, what's he averaging? 26 points a game. He knows how to score. But sometimes players think they're giving 100%, but they're going through the motions, and they're not really. You've got to get back. You've got to be hungry. And sometimes you have to play like you're a rookie, and you got to prove yourself. And once you've proven yourself, you can't relax on that. You've got to bring it. This is the NBA. These are the best athletes in the world. You've got to bring it every night. And the minute you just take a little bit of relaxation, it can take over. You don't realize that you're not giving the effort that you need. You're not giving the effort that you always use to get to this level in the first place. And so the great ones know how to do it. The great ones come through and they know how to prepare themselves for each and every game and come out, and it's a new challenge for them, and they're ready to play. But those are the great veterans and the great players like Steph Curry, and other players through the years, the guys that I played with, like Nate Thurmond and Cassie Russell and what have you. But at any rate, it's interesting to see how that's going to play out. But right now, I guarantee you that Minnesota is chomping at the bits and saying this is their chance, because you're going to take out the number one scorer, Steph Curry, and he's going to be out for at least the next 3 games and maybe longer.
The Houston series was clearly a bloodbath. the physicality back and forth was really unbelievable. What were your thoughts on the physicality in game one? Because to me, in my naked eye, it just felt like there was way more freedom of movement for both teams, even though it was a physical playoff game.
Yeah, I thought the referees let them play with a lot more physicality, as a matter of fact. It was interesting to me. Guys were getting hit and falling down and everything, and I guess if they didn't think they were taking a shot at that time or it was away from the play, that it doesn't matter. But I thought it was very physical, and I thought a few fouls actually could have been called, a few more fouls.
Wow. On what side?
Both sides, as a matter of fact.
Interesting.
What have you made from Draymond Green thus far, Jim? Because he's been incredible defensively. We know he's a DPOI candidate. He's one of the greatest defenders in the sport. But it's the offense. Like, if this guy's scoring consistently enough, it just changes the dynamic of this team. And now, without Steph, obviously, how important is it that he keeps up this offensive outburst, I should say, that he's been showing the last couple games?
He takes threes. What do you make, 4 threes in game one?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, because no one comes out and guards him from there, and they don't expect it. And now he's got confidence in that. And they're going to need more points from him. And so don't deny it. Green is a competitor. I mean, I've never seen really a better competitor than Draymond Green. He's 6'6", but he plays like he's 6'10", and his shot he goes out and his 3-point shot, especially in game one, really looked good. And they give it to him. So they want him to take that. And all of a sudden he burned him with it. And so look for him to settle that. He believes, one thing about Draymond Green, he really believes in Draymond Green. He really believes in himself, has such a great confidence. And so, they're going to compete. And it's going to be a heck of a series here, but the next 3 to 4 games are going to be, they're going to be really, really tough, because no matter any way you skin a cat there, you're going to miss Stephen Curry, a guy that can give you 30 or 35 any given night. And they've got to replace that. Jimmy Butler's got to score a little bit more. Buddy Hield is capable of doing that, certainly. And I expect him. And you hope that he's on. You hope that he's doing that. Podziemski as well. Maybe a little bit more from him. And he's a very cool guy. I like him, a guy that comes up and nobody knows about him. But he's pretty capable, and he plays with a lot of confidence. I like him too. And he knows how to play the game. He's fundamentally sound. So, it's a wait and see. We'll just see what happens tonight's game. And, I'm going to be looking for him to maybe surprise right now Minnesota again. So we'll see. But Minnesota is going to come in, and they're going to put them to the task. They're going to have, I would think their coach is going to get them and say, you've got to have this killer instinct right now and be hungry.
You've watched all of Steve Kerr's career as a coach, and I've seen an evolution from him this year. Not that he hasn't done these things at times, but it just feels like, especially in this last series against the Rockets, his timing on timeouts, when to crush the momentum of the fan base when they're on the road, or to tinker with the lineups, or throw the kitchen sink defensively at another team, mixing up the zone. I just think he's been masterful at pulling all the levers. What areas have really impressed you for Steve Kerr?
He knows when to call a timeout. He knows when to stop the momentum from the other team. He's always cool with his players. He encourages his players, but he can also coach and teach at the same time. And, he doesn't embarrass his players. He's really a player's coach. And I think it just comes from who he is, how he was coached at Arizona, and how he's raised, as a matter of fact. And just the great self-confidence that he has in himself. He's the type of guy that you want your daughter to be married to, okay? He knows how to get along in society. He knows how to treat people. He knows how to give discipline, but also with love. And it sounds kind of funny that way, but I think he's a very special, rare human being, and anybody that's associated with him, whether it be close family tie or a great friend, they benefit from Steve Kerr. He's a great teacher by his actions on and off the court. I can't tell you how much praise I give Steve Kerr for what he does for people in their lifetime. I just think he's a very special kind of human being.
Hey, no, it's great stuff there, Jim. Real quick before you head on out of here, we appreciate the time. It's been great stuff. Two of your former teams going at it in the East right now. Boston, the defending champs, down 0-2 to the Knicks.
I'm shocked.
It's shocking,
shocked.
Right. It's crazy.
Yeah. But Brunson is a guy that he thinks he's the best player in the world. And so he gets on a tear, and he can't be stopped. He plays with such confidence. And I'll tell you what, he is one tough son of a gun. And so he's a tough guy to deal with.
Hey, Jim, great stuff, man. We really appreciate the time. We'll do it again soon. And hopefully we're talking to you, and the Warriors maybe advance to another round, but they're going to have to do it potentially without Stephen Curry these next few games. But great stuff, Jim. We appreciate the time.
I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate it very much. It's nice to be involved.
There you go. That's Jim Barnett, Warriors broadcaster, legend, right here on 95.7 The Game.